Hi, welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast with me, Iona Mead. So, here at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. So, in today's episode, we're going to be continuing on talking about spiritual work life balance or spiritual business work life balance. So, for those of you who have a spiritual business, then this is hopefully going to help you. So, today is what I call Relationship Freedom Friday. So we'll be talking about relationships. And if you, I can see that somebody's watching me. I do come live every single day talking about spiritual life work balance. And for those of you who have subscribed here at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona, thank you for joining the Soul Guided Influencers family. I'm super excited to meet you as I talk about relationships. The idea is for me to call in my soul tribe and have that soul tribe impact, that soul family influence, and that soul client income. And for those of you who've also decided to be students of the Soul Legacy Academy, I want to thank you as well and give you a big shout out. So what I will say is that today is what I call Relationship Freedom Friday. So your spiritual business and life work balance, when we think of that, when we have a business, we know that we are here to serve. And so many of you want to serve on a global level, on our monthly call, our collaboration call, Soul Guided Influencers collaboration call. It's a free networking call. Where I had so many people on there that were just so beautiful, and one of our soul sisters said, I'm here to make an impact on a global scale. And so for that means that growing your spiritual business on a global scale, it's about relationships and building those relationships one person at a time. And I love that. And I love that, yes, we want to serve millions in our spiritual business, but actually every time we touch one person and then the next person and the next person, it's just such a gift. So I will say, as I go through this episode, I usually journal. And when I'm on live, I tend to just speak out my journal rather than writing down my journal. So I will refer to my notes, but I tend to just do this. You can do a video journal, a text journal, audio journal, an image journal. I like to capture images throughout my day as well, and kind of just say thank you to the universe and see what's manifested as I'm manifesting my spiritual life work balance and as I'm focusing on my relationship. So as I journal, this is called the Soul Legacy Journal. I'm the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, so it makes sense. Soul Legacy Journal, and here at the Soul Legacy TV. So this is 365 days of your spiritual awakening story, a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy by and for light workers. So if you've got light work to do in the world as a light worker, then you're going to build the relationships with the people that you are here to serve. Hopefully that makes sense. Oftentimes, when we are online building our spiritual business, we don't necessarily know how to reach our clients, how to speak to our clients, how to serve our clients. And what I will invite you to do, if you have that problem, speaking to, serving, and signing up your high paying soul clients and building those relationships, I want to invite you to register for my masterclass. It's called the Spiritual Business Book Marketing on YouTube, free masterclass and Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge. And I'll explain more about that. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Audible or any other podcast platform, you can go to www.soullegacyacademy.com/courses/masterclass. I'll say it again, www.soullegacyacademy.com/courses/masterclass, and sign up for that. It's a free 4-hour training. I do it live here at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success on a YouTube channel, live on the last Monday of the month at 3 p.m. UK time. So you'll notice that I want to encourage you and build a relationship with you, serve you, support you. I've built my spiritual business around that life work balance so that I can invite you, so I can say, rather than going out there and marketing and all the time and just doing things like email list building, I wanted to build a student community. I wanted to serve. And so anyone who's new to me then can come onto the masterclass and be served, right? So it's limitless because it's on YouTube. And for those of you who watch people that market online, you may have heard of a guy called Alex Hormozi, which I love, that he actually did something different. And so he did a 7-hour webinar on YouTube and did a launch. I don't know how much she made on launch, probably millions, and then did an encore. And I'm there arranging and automating my masterclass, and so that happens 4 hours every single month, rather than this big launch that took me it did take me a long time actually, but rather than something like what Alex and Mosley did was build a business and build up to that launch for 4 years, and then it's kind of, I don't know if it's a one and done or whether I'll do it again and again. I do mine on the last Monday of the month at 4 p.m. UK time, so you can expect me to do that and expect to come live and again build that relationship, which I absolutely love. My students love it. I love it. I love serving you. And so there is a replay and there are bonus gifts. There's lots of different things, and that's how we're going to kick off our Bank 50K 50 Days Challenge and create that life work balance. But it does come through relationships, and it does come through whenever you're online, actually going online and being visible with intention of building that relationship and continuing the relationship after book marketing, especially. So for me, building my business around relationships. So this is my book. It's called Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, a soul-guided influencer's compass to leverage your light work and lifestyle on YouTube. Because it's Relationship Freedom Friday, I wrote this book with relationships, meaning my soul niche, my soul tribe, my soul clients in mind. And if you've read this book, thank you for purchasing it, leaving a review, and coming into the book launch club. So again, that's about relationships, building a spiritual business around relationships and having that spiritual business and life work balance. I talk about this on my vision board. And if you haven't done my vision board, then this is going to make more sense, because this daily podcast is for the 7 Freedoms frequency, and it's about living an intentional life. And so having that spiritual life work balance, I say, create what I call the soul legacy wheel for these 7 areas. Contribution on Monday, what I talk about weekly. Health, emotions, environment, relationships is Friday, spirituality is Saturday, and finances is Sunday. And so I wanted to balance my light work and my lifestyle. And I realized that these are the 7 areas that I wanted to focus on. And so yesterday we talked about environment, we talked about emotions on Wednesday, health on Tuesday, and life purpose on Monday. All of those, when we think about relationships, all of them are intertwined. When we go back to contribution and our life purpose, we're serving our soul tribe and our soul clients, right? And so you're connecting and you're thinking, how do I engage in that relationship? And so when you're thinking about health, the relationship with those around you, the relationship with yourself, your emotions often lead to your health, right? Dis-ease in the body, or eating in the body, whatever you're eating, etc. Relationship in terms of your health and what's been passed down through the generations, what you will pass down. Relationships in terms of emotions, relationships can have you be really joyous or really happy or really angry and really hacked it off, right? And so relationships will affect your emotions. And so the relationship with you will affect your emotions. And so your relationships in your environment, wherever you are building your spiritual business, wherever you have the relationships that you have, wherever you live, wherever you work. We talked about environment, where you're living, where you're working, where you're traveling to. That's all building relationships. You're going to see people along the way. And so relationships again is on Friday. And so wherever you go, wherever you're engaging with somebody, whether it's someone who has served you in a shop, whether it's someone who has stopped you for whatever. As I went on my date throughout this week, there were people homeless who were asking for money. We can engage or not. We can build a relationship or not. There were people that clearly had mental health issues that walked past us with, I don't know, the relationship that they would have had will have impacted them. Relationships, family, relationships, children, spouse, whatever relationship, whatever roles you play, all of that affects your spiritual business, what you've learned, your education, society, the world, relationship with the universe, God, faith, whatever that is all relative on a Friday for us to come back and address and to journal out. And so the purpose of this intentional living podcast and creating that spiritual life work balance is to share with you my journey of how I've created spiritual life work balance and how I manage my relationships and how I support my students to manage relationships. And hopefully I can inspire you to manage the relationship with yourself and also manage the relationships with those who are important around you. And obviously, as a light worker, and if you have a spiritual business, you're going to want to impact other people. And one of the things that was on my vision board was over time was when have created a project, I know that if I impact my students, if I impact you, my subscribers, etc., then I'm having that ripple effect. And I kind of just put my arms out one day and I thought, I don't even have to be the one that impacts all of the other people, meaning the knock-on effect. So if I support one light worker and they support 5 clients, say, and those 5 clients have family, who have children, who have loved ones, who have friends, who have colleagues. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a ripple that I will never know how many people that it actually impacts, which is just a legacy in and of itself, and I love it. And so that's what supports me with my vision board when I create my vision. And if you haven't created your vision board, I invite you to get access to my Google Doc. It's called 1 week to create a badass spiritual business vision board. And again, if you want to create that life work balance, it all starts with the relationship that you have and the relationship that you may have from mentors or coaches, or maybe you've had relationships with mentors and coaches, and they've supported you in your spiritual business, or they've supported you in other areas, and you're like, actually the relationship with that, it actually sucks, it wasn't that great. I'd like to find somebody who is more aligned. And a lot of my students say that you are more aligned than the other people that are out there that are talking about marketing. So 1 week to create a badass spiritual business vision board and bank 50K in 50 days challenge. And I want to say that when you go through this vision board and you share your journey, you can share your journey in the Facebook group or the Telegram group. When you create your vision board, remember when you're doing your relationships and you're building your spiritual business that you are here to serve. I know you know, but here to serve. And that means that your money for your spiritual business is going to come through people, right? So if you have a fear of being seen online, I've got my book and a video series at the Soul Legacy TV on my YouTube channel, A Fear of Being Seen Online. I'm doing weekly videos regarding that, because if you have a fear or if you have anything blocking you from building your spiritual business and building those relationships, then it's going to have an impact on how you can serve in the world. So having a fear of failure, fear of success, fear of selling, if you have a fear of selling, that means that you are not building and connecting the relationships where your money is going to come through people. You have a fear of success, like, what does success mean to you? If you have a fear of failure, what does failure mean to you? Usually it's not even that we are particularly bothered. We're bothered more about what other people think about the journey. And you get to the stage where, for me, at the age of 52, I'm like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing my best and I'm doing what I need to do in the world. And that's what really matters, being a kind human. So I would say request access to that Google Doc, and I will walk you through my vision board challenge so that you can live an intentional life, and so that you can have that spiritual life work balance, and so that you can come on the daily podcast with me, share your journey, post your vision board in the group, and then actually journal out. I'm here every single day to support you in your spiritual business and work-life balance. I didn't have that. And I really wanted to have it for myself. I have it for my students. I wanted to have it for you. So if you want to become a student of mine in the Soul Legacy Academy, that vision board challenge is in my online teaching portal. And so again, it's 1 week to create a badass spiritual business vision board and bank 50K in 50 days challenge. So you can enroll and log in at www.soullegacyacademy.com/courses/vision board. And in there, you'll see my annual challenge. It's free on my the vision board challenge is free on my YouTube channel. However, I give homework, And I give links, I give everything all in one place. If you're not really a socials person, if you want to follow along, and also do a quiz in there. I've got homework in there, a values list, etc. I've got lots of different things. I also gift on the live rounds for this vision board challenge. I also gift a 2-hour monthly coaching call for the 7 Freedoms frequency calling gym. So this is the 7 Freedoms intentional living podcast. And so the 7 freedoms, those 7 areas that I mentioned, I give a group coaching call. So I support my students. And so if you come with me live the second week in December at 7:30 p.m. UK time, I want to build that relationship with you, with my soul tribe. I'm doing what I do. I will share what I've been manifesting all year because I do this annually. But also I want to support you on the journey. That means, again, that ripple effect from the relationship with you and I, and the relationship that goes beyond and beyond to our loved ones, and we leave our legacy. And we do it with ease, grace, and flow. It's absolutely epic. So again, relationships with your spiritual business, think about, I don't know if you've thought of that, if you've put it on your vision board and you're like, actually, in every area, the relationship with myself being good from what I've been programmed in society, letting go of certain things, letting go of certain experiences, so that you can shift from a poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness. And we're not born with a poverty consciousness. We're taught it, we're conditioned to have that poverty consciousness, and rather than a prosperity consciousness. And so that's what we focus on, actually improving the relationship with you first, and you moving from your spiritual awakening as the journal, gathering your spiritual ascension tools and alchemizing, being the best version of you, so that you can serve at the highest level and you can do it with freedom. And having that spiritual life work balance, trust me, it's going to take a little bit of figuring out for you, pouring out your purpose and packaging it up and offering it in a book, in a program, in a retreat, in a workshop, all of those things you hear. A retreat is about relationships. Your program, it's relationships, building a relationship, people going through your stuff. And so having that spiritual life work balance. And I am in the UK, and oftentimes when there's a project or something going on, I will I end up getting up early in like early hours. And so I woke up and I saw the clock. Wayne Dyer talks about the late Wayne Dyer talked about this on his teaching about the quiet hours in the middle of the night, like free. And so I woke up and I saw those angel numbers. I was like, okay. And I went to my messenger inbox, and I'd got a message from a soul sister who is now a co-author. And she left me a voice note and she said, send me the link for the co-author book series. And I'm not able to come to the co-author collab chat right now, but I will do that in October. But I want to get started. And I'm like, oh, wow. That's never happened. Like in the middle of the night, I've woken up. I was just really guided. And to be able to leave a voice note on the DMs, I know lots of people are like, oh, the DMs, but it comes through relationships. It's not just post to post, it's actually having a connection, a reason, a why, a common ground, a soul to soul connection. If my life purpose connects with the people that I'm here to serve, they can see, hear, and feel me. And we speak to serve and sign up our high paying soul clients. And I talk about relationships in the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge. And I say, you know what, do 50 breakthrough sessions that serve. And people like, oh, I can't. 50 days, 7 sessions in a week, and then we do follow up. If you were to serve 50 people, building those relationships with 50 people over the next 50 days, and you didn't have any fear about it, and you were not attached to the outcome of serving them, and you said, you know what, I'd love to serve you, I'd love to give you a breakthrough session on whatever it is, and I'd love to follow up, give you some homework, and I'd love to follow up with you in 7 days and share your success story. If you get success, would you be willing to share a testimonial? And if you get success, would you be willing to allow me to be on this journey, to continue your education with me, to continue serving with you in this way or in that way? For me, it's my boot camp, which is $555, and we have payment plans, or $55 payment plans for 10 months, $111 payment plans for 5 months, $277.50 for 2 months, or in the mastermind, which is $5,000 or 555, and you can have 2 years. That's 1 year's access. 2 years access is 444, and 3 years access is 333, and it's dollars, so I take a hit, right? And so it's a matter of, if I serve 50 people, if you serve 50 people, individual sessions over 50 days or even over a year, do you believe that you could make an offer to continue working with them, focusing on them, building the relationship, asking them what they need based on your area of expertise, that you would then actually receive your financial freedom goal for the year, for the month, for the what have you? You would, right? So building those relationships, and the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge is that it's about being raw and being real and serving and showing up, speaking out and serving deep. There are many of us behind closed doors, many light workers, authors, spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, who are here to be soul guided influencers in the world, who are hiding behind closed doors, have this really big vision, but don't know how to serve, don't know how to speak to, serve, and sign up their high paying soul clients. So if you go to the masterclass, I will share with you how to do that and how to actually do the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge. The Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge is about you building your business in a way that doesn't just build an email list, because that's not building a relationship, that's showing people on an email list. Is building the relationship in terms of building a legacy, and you're here to leave a legacy and impact many people on a global scale. And it's time to build that spiritual life work balance in a way, and build your business in a way that is going to give you that balance. But everything comes through relationships. So if you haven't done the vision board with me, I invite you again to do that. So when you do your vision board, I've got notes. Let me just go through them, because I've gone off on a tangent for like 20 minutes, kind of. When you do your vision board, let me just go through my notes. When you do your vision board, you've got a vision. What vision do you have for your relationships? Now, I talk about on the vision board challenge every single area of your life, so you do have that life work balance. And so what relationships would you put on your vision board? If you've done my vision board challenge, let me know. My eyebrows look dodgy. Let me know if you've done the vision board. Now, I've done relationships, my own relationship, my soulmate relationship, my relationship with my daughter and my granddaughter. I've got a grandson on the way. I've got 2 non-biological grandchildren. So a grandson and another granddaughter on the way. I'm like, oh. So 4 grandbabies altogether. I've got godchildren, 8 of them. I've got beautiful friends. I've got an enormous family. And so I've got on my vision board, and they're working with my co-authors. So I did my vision board officially on the second week in December. And so right now it is September the 6th, 5th even, 2025. And so when I come to December, I will see what I've actually manifested on that vision board and all of the relationships. Now, when I look at my financial freedom, which is on day 7 of the vision board challenge, and every Sunday, Financial Freedom Sunday, I talk about, it's not just, oh, well, I've just magically got finances and money in my account. It's come through a person, it's come through relationships. So I got paid in the middle of the night, which was amazing. And I got paid this morning, and I was like, I'm just sitting there doing something else or speaking to somebody else. It's such a beautiful, beautiful experience to know that you don't have to follow what we were taught in the mainstream. Go to school, go to college, go to uni, go get a job until we retire, work for somebody else, work a 9 to 5. Now it's work nights, work shifts, work weekends, work all the hours, just to cover expenses. We do have the freedom, although it doesn't seem like we have as much freedom in the world right now. We do have the freedom to start a spiritual business, and we do have the freedom to speak, and I'm speaking to you, and we do have the freedom to use platforms such as YouTube, and I'm streaming this out on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on within the Soul Legacy Academy for my students. So this is me sharing marketing, but this is me doing my own spiritual practices and intentional living, and this is me doing this for my students as well, for that 2-hour monthly coaching call. So it's just, I have the freedom to do that. You have the freedom to work smarter, not harder, and actually start today with creating that spiritual life work balance that you really envision. I love it. This has been downloaded to me. It's taken me years, and it's taken me moving through certain relationships, especially romantic relationships, to get here. So I was married when I first came across the secret movie, and I came across like the law of attraction. Now I'm aware of the law of vibration that's underneath the law of attraction. I was in a 7-year relationship, and then I was in my twin flame relationship, not consecutive, just one after the other like that. But and then I've been single for 3.5 years, manifesting my soulmate. And so my relationships, as I've been living out in my spiritual business and trying to create that life work balance, and I'm very aware now, and the next relationship that I get in, it's about having that balance and about me building my spiritual business in a way that I'm supported in it, because I hadn't been supported in the way that I needed. I was supported, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say I've never been supported at all, and I've supported others in my significant relationships, but who we get with, who we are with, who we've partnered with is huge. And I'll talk about the book that I was reading today as part of this, the intentional living and the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. I read a book every single day. I don't necessarily read it like in the physical. I do listen to Audible. And so sometimes I'll listen to Audible and read, or I'll listen to, have Alexa read a book out and read, or I'll just listen to it. I have learning and dyslexia, so it's really nice for me to have the book read out to me. It helps me to comprehend it. Although I've read that book, The Five Love Languages, so many times. And I will consider that moving into my relationship. And I'll talk about the book in a second. So I've got notes on that. And so hopefully it will inspire you. If you've heard of the book, what do you think about the book? What's your love language? And has it helped you to improve the relationship with you and helped you to improve the relationship with others? And if you don't know about the book, I'd highly recommend it. And again, when we do the Seven Freedoms Frequency Calling Gym, the 12 monthly coaching call, we have a book club, and you can come and you can share the books that you've read. And I know that many people online in Facebook groups will say, what's one of the best books? What's a book that changed your life? That absolutely has changed my life and changed the way that I communicate and changed the way that I'm in relationship with myself and in the relationship with others. He's got the 5 love languages for children, for men, for teenagers, for singles. It's just an epic book. And it actually helps you with your values of supporting you in your spiritual business and creating that spiritual business life work balance, because you're serving people in a way that is going to fuel your own love language. My love language, guess what? It's quality time. So me spending this time and giving this time, this is a way for me to give love, is to give that quality time, to give that quality time to my students, to give that quality time to myself, to give that quality time as in marketing, not as in, marketing in a way that feels icky and gross. It's marketing in a way that is like, this feels authentic to me. Words is my love language as well. So hopefully my words, people say that my words are healing, which is a beautiful compliment. What I say to myself matters. What I say to you matters. What we say out loud matters. That words are that love language. And physical touch is mine love language. And I often get like goosebumps and stuff when I'm on calls and we've got that soul to soul connection. And physical touch in a relationship is important to me. I'm not really a gift giver. I'm not really a gift receiver. I love it. And I do actually cry when I get given a gift. I'm like, oh, thank you. Or a card with like words in. I'm like, oh, just, and I got given a card at the, over this last few days. I was going to say at the weekend. It's not the weekend yet. I had a date throughout the week, and I said that I'd mention that a little bit more. I had a date over this last couple of days, and so it's Friday now. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is just beautiful because quality time, and a lot of words exchange, and a lot of physical touch, a lot of, and some people say, oh, especially guys say, my love language is physical touch, and it's just intimacy, and it's not necessarily just that. It isn't just that. It might be a stroke or a brush of someone or a rubbing of someone. I love it, and people say that my skin's smooth, so they want to rub it even more. It's just really beautiful. So I've had my love languages spoken to, spent time, and that physical touch for the last few days, and I feel amazing. And so again, if I'm in a relationship, if you're in a relationship, whether you're single and you're like, I'm never getting into a relationship ever again, you're waiting, or if you're in a relationship and the relationships are not fueling you, when you're coming online and you're building your spiritual business, you might feel out of balance in other areas. Again, so having that spiritual life work balance for your spiritual business isn't just about business, it's about you as a person. And so when you're feeling fueled, you're coming from a space and you're showing up, speaking out, and serving deep in a beautiful and authentic way. So I have relationships, again, beautiful. And so when I came off my dates, I had I would say a disagreement. I wouldn't say I was having the disagreement with a very important person in my life. I won't say because they probably wouldn't want me to. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm high vibing and I'm buzzing, and whatever is transpiring, I have my part in it and I will own it and I will apologize for it. But after that, I'm kind of just going to leave it at the door and get on with the business of being high vibe, because I'm doing this, the intentional living, and I'm living an intentional life, and I acknowledge other people's feelings and relationships, but I'm not also a person that will own another person's side and blame myself and do all those things and go down the emotional scale. I know where I want to be vibing at. And I know that where my vision, as I've created my vision board, I know the frequency that I need to be at in order to manifest that. I've just manifested a beautiful day over like a couple of days, and it was absolutely epic. And then I had contrast, big, deep contrast, to be fair, as a result of that. And it's like, okay, well, you can, when that happens, you might think, oh, blame yourself. You might think, oh, well, this is a sign of this is a sign of that. Or you can take it for what it is and know that the relationship that you have with people, you can't control. You can only control your reaction. And also the relationships that people have with themselves. Then when they engage, people say about projecting, or people saying that people are narcissistic, or people are, or when you're an empath, like anybody around you, you're affecting, you're engaging. And so if you are in alignment and want to be in alignment with the frequency, so we've got the emotional scale that we talk about here at the Intentional Living podcast for the 7 freedoms. And so I talk about emotional freedom on Wednesday. And so going up and down the emotional scale. And so right now I'm hormonal, and I know that I'm hormonal. And so I end up having a tired day, a teary day, and another day which I won't announce. That kind of that desire day, I would say. So I know that actually being mindful of that when I'm engaging in relationships, and just knowing me to look out for those signs. But I was going to say that other people's relationships with themselves impact how we are, as in, like, if you pick up what you put down. So if other people have a vibration, you hear them when people walk in a room, there's a certain vibration and a connection where energy. If another person is vibrating at a lower frequency, so on the emotional scale, again, that we talk about on Wednesdays, Abraham Hicks's emotional scale, so the lowest is fear and powerlessness and victim. And so that you can move up the emotional scale, and I'll talk about this more on Wednesday, what the vibrations are, and guilt and fear and shame and all these things at a lower vibrational frequency. If you're vibrating at a frequency of love, of joy, or empowerment and knowledge, and that's where your vision is, how we feel, and you have contrast as a result of somebody's exchange with you, you can choose to move down the emotional scale or react, or you might go down the emotional scale for a second, but knowing how to let things go in the moment so that you can raise your vibrational frequency without a circumstance having to change is huge. And I talk about this on the 2-hour monthly coaching call, because I believe that I manage myself really, really well. And I got on the phone to my best friend, and she was saying certain things, and I'm like, but that's not accurate. That's based on your perception and your situation. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she said something else. And I'm like, again, you're making a judgment based on, I know where I am and I know the journey, and you haven't taken time to listen fully. She did in the end. And so it's when people are around you at your relationships, and she explained, no, this is what I mean. Don't be defensive, blah, blah, blah. I've got people around me where we're able to talk raw and real. Those things happening in my day, in my working day, affect my vibration and affect like when I'm coming to speak with you. And for me, I just make that part of my content. I'm very open, I'm very honest, I'm very real of what's going on for me, and what actually happens in my relationships matter to me, because relationships are what make the world go around. People say money makes the world go around, but without relationships, without actually somebody needing something for money, then it's irrelevant, right? So just looking at the lighting on my, hang on, is that really super bright or cool? No. Okay, we'll just leave it as it is. Anyway, so relationships are huge on your vision board. Relationships, I would say, as part of the intentional living and creating that life work balance, we do our vision on our vision board. Whatever you've done, I'm managing and navigating that again. I put my soulmate relationship on my vision board, and I talk about this on my second YouTube channel. It's called Intention Dating Out to Attract Your Soulmate. I walk my talk, right? If you know me, I walk my talk. And so I have been single for 3.5 years, and the dating apps, we know, right? Those relationships, even getting into relationships. And again, when you're in a romantic relationship, I know that some of my soul tribe are married, some of them are single, some of them are like, I want to be in a relationship, but we're all affected, but we're all one, right? And one consciousness. We're all affected by things that happen in the world. And me on the dating app, and people coming with their own baggage, their own stories, their own this, their own that, emerging. It's a challenging thing. It can be quite challenging, actually. And so I wanted to have that impact on my second YouTube channel because of my experience, as well as moving into the space for the Intention Dating app, where we're talking about getting into a relationship intentionally and living an intentional life with a spouse in a couple. And that impacts children. My movement here with the Soul Legacy TV and the Soul Legacy Academy, and I call it the Soul Legacy movement, is to improve the mental health, assist in improving the mental health and well-being of our nation and our future generation, escape a poverty consciousness and elevate a prosperity consciousness. And some people are like, why are you focusing on the negative? It's the contrast. There's contrast. It's okay to say, okay, well, you say good and bad, there's good and bad. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean to say, well, now you've said the word bad, it's bad. Like, you can, there is good, there's duality. And so in that, focusing on the dating app and focusing on the health and the fitness, and going through with couples, their contribution and their health and their emotions and their environment and their relationships, their spirituality and their finances is going to impact relationships in general. I'll talk about that more as I talk about the book that I listened to today. So, are your values, is the next segment, are in alignment with the relationships that you have around you? This is huge. And so this is where this disagreement came with the values. I value freedom, and anything that restricts my freedom, I've got a problem with. Like, I have freedom. I'm free to do what I want, when I want, right? To a degree. And so if that conflicts with somebody else's values, that they believe that you should act in a certain way, do a certain thing because of their need, that's valid. However, you also can honor your needs. And so for me, I'm like, okay, it's time to shift in my environments. I was talking about environmental freedom Thursday, and I was saying that, okay, if this environment is no longer conducive, so you can see that I'm in a different environment. And so that means that relationships in one environment will impact relationships in another environment, will impact the energy. And actually, I was looking back because I've just come back online to do this Seven Freedoms Frequency, Seven Freedoms Intentional Living podcast. I've changed the name, and I keep like going back and forth between the old name and the new name. And so I looked back and I'm on day 5, and all of the internet was going out. There was a lot of noise and disruption in that previous environment because of the type of building it was. And I know that sometimes chaos looks like it's unfolding, but it's your blessing sometimes, not sometimes, always. And sometimes it requires us to trust. I know what is on my vision board, and being in the company of the person that I'd gone on a date with, we set a lot of soul's intentions. A lot of things had manifested. A lot of things will be manifest as a result of that. And so straight away, instantly, what came as a course correction in my life and my direction looks like chaos. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just taking this as a sign. I've already set intentions. My vibration is high. Okay, well, let me move with this rather than resisting and moving against it. And I talk about this in my book, Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, A Soul Guided Influences Compass to Leverage Your Light Work and Lifestyle on YouTube. In chapter 1, I give this quote, actually. Let me share this quote by Joseph Campbell. If you've got my book, then thank you for supporting me. If you would like my book, you can get a free chapter, 2 free chapters here. You can get 2 free chapters at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success. No, Soul Legacy TV. No, soullegacyacademy.com/courses/masterclass. So, chapter 1. Oh, hang on. Actually, wait. No, it's not chapter 1. It is the introductory chapter. There we go. And the free introductory chapter, it's a long chapter, actually. It's called How to Start, Build and Grow a Successful Online Spiritual Business on YouTube with a #1 best-selling book launch. So you're thinking about your readers, again, relationships. As you create that spiritual life work balance, you can write your book and have a passive income stream. And inside this book is a 5-day course. I'm thinking of the reader, right? So Joseph Campbell says we must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to shed before the new one can come. And so I took that yesterday as the old skin shedding in order for the new life that I've just focused on and set intentions. And I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm really, really good. Thank you, universe, for whatever this is and however this path unfolds. Is just really, really beautiful. I like to walk my talk, for real. All right. Talked about vision. We talked about values. I want to talk a little bit more about vibrational frequency. So here on the 7 Freedoms Intentional Living podcast, 7 Freedoms Frequency. And so my soul signature system is called the Intentional Living Codes. Cheers to financial freedom frequency. And the cheers is the C for contribution that we talk about on Monday, life purpose. The H is for health freedom, which we talk about on Tuesdays. The E is for emotional freedom, which we talk about on Wednesdays. The other E is environmental freedom, which we talk about on Thursdays. The R in the cheers is it's an acronym, so it's relationships. The S is spirituality, and the F is finances. So it's a memorable acronym for the Soul Legacy Wheel. And so I rate my vibrational frequency every single day between a 1 and 11. If you want to know more about the whole process of this and me developing this from going through my spiritual awakening, go download the vision, go to the vision board, or request the Google Doc, so that I explain more about this and you'll get coaching on it. So hang on. So rate your vibrational frequency. So RFF, so it stands for Relationship Freedom Friday equals. Now you'll rate between a 1 and an 11. 1 is feeling in soul funk and 11 is feeling in soul flow. So depending on how you feel will depend on your vibration. But how you feel, your vibration might drop and with the circumstances of what's in front of you, but you can raise your vibration even when the circumstances doesn't change. And so journal about it, put it in your journal, your score, right, for each day. And then if you come to the 2-hour monthly coaching call, I will say to you, add your scores up through the week to give yourself a snapshot of what area has dipped and how we can work on that and coach through it and mentor through it and get everything else that you need or tap through it or what have you. When you're doing this journey and you're living intentionally, you kind of do this. You probably won't even wait till the 2-hour monthly coaching call because I'm going to be here. And so I instantly went to rate this at an 11 because I feel really high vibe and I've been manifesting different relationships and I maintain my relationships, etc. And I had to dip and put a 10 because of the disagreement yesterday. However, my relationship freedom dipped lower than that. However, even though it's like 24 hours after or what have you, my vibration is higher. I would say it's an 11 now, but I will acknowledge that there was a dip so that when I look back, I say, oh, and so how I've reacted and how I move forward has helped me to raise my vibration, even though that something has happened where it's like, oh, that didn't feel good. And I like it is what it is, but how do I still vibrate at frequency and be grateful for my experience and be grateful for the journey? So with the wheel of life, they say rate how fulfilled you feel in that area of your life, rate between a 0 and a 10, and that's fine. In the soul legacy wheel, we raise our vibration. If we don't raise our vibration, we're going to be at a vibrational frequency that's out of alignment with our vision. And so I will talk about the book and the 5 love languages. I think this is a good point to mention. So rating our 5 love languages, obviously for me, again, my love language is quality time, physical touch, and words. So if somebody's using words to me in a harsh and a critical manner, that, and I've had that all of my life, that impacts me, how I feel loved in that moment. And it's like, wow, words really matter to me. And so being aware of what matters to you and what is your love language is huge. And being aware of what other people's love languages is huge as well. So if you haven't haven't read this book, even this way, I highly recommend it. And so this is a couples book. There's a singles book, and again, a children's, men's, and a teenager's book. And so it's by Dr. Gary Chapman. Excuse me. He says the secret to love that lasts. And so I was listening to like the opening credits, so I've listened to this and read this book so many times over the years, and so it impacts the way that I want to get into a relationship as well. And so for my twin flame union, which was 7 years ago now, he actually listened to this book on our second date, and we had an understanding, and it was the healthiest relationship that I'd ever been in. We thought it'd be forever. However, I hadn't experienced all the things. So in this book, Dr. Gary Chapman, but I'm grateful for the relationship because the intentional living codes were born out of that relationship. And so as my experience. And so Dr. Gary Chapman talks about in the book, let me know if you've read this book. I love it. And he talks about when you're in a relationship, sorry for I don't know what's going on with my camera. When you're in a relationship, I can see I'm blurring. When you're in a relationship or you're getting into a relationship, understanding each other's love language is huge. And so he says that when you're in a relationship in the beginning, we all know this, that obsessive, that honeymoon phase. And then it's about 1.5 years, 2.5 years where you go through the real love experience, the covenant love. And you may have or may not have been looking at that person through a certain lens, a loved up lens, blissed up lens. And then after 2 years or what have you, it's like, do you really love that person? Do you even like that person? Would you even? And so for my twin flame and I, we didn't get past into the second stage of love. We stopped at that. And so we were together almost 4 years, and we just didn't, we wanted to recreate our first 3 dates because they were amazing. And when we tried to, it just wasn't the same. And so what I've done on this journey of me being single and dating again and with the intention dating app is date with the intention, the foundations of intentional dating for one. And date with the intention of somebody that can do the second stage of love with me. And so Dr. Gary Chapman says that when you're intimate with somebody, it actually changes the chemicals in your brain. And you kind of look through that lens, right? And so I made a decision to be celibate because I was like, actually, if I now know that information, I'm not going to start a relationship that I want to be in for life. I'm dating for marriage. And so I'm like, okay, so dating has been a very different experience just by reading a book, right? Why is it be upside down? Just by reading a book. I love books. I love learning. I've never met Dr. Gary Chapman, but his book has, and he's sold millions of copies. So for me, again, when I've gone on my dates, we've talked about love languages, not in depth. We get there, but explaining myself in the way of this is what I need. And so I explain myself on the date. Bear in mind, this is like a 2-3 day date. It was okay. Well, when I've said this, and I've said it on a voice note, I talk a lot. And this person obviously doesn't talk as much as me. Well, he does, but not in a voice note. And he likes voice notes. So that's a great way to communicate. But it's like when I don't know if you heard this, because I didn't get an acknowledgement or a what have you. And don't get me wrong, there was lots of acknowledgements and lots of different things. But I'm communicating, okay, words matter to me. It's like, oh, I get it. Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, I didn't even hear it. Oh, I didn't even, because they're picking up on part of a voice note, which is like 13 minutes long, by the way. From me, but then the other part, so then it's for me to then obviously leave a short voice note or write things out, or just as a reminder, or not be mad because somebody hasn't, and communicate effectively. And so when I'm communicating, I'm like, okay, well, can this person love me in the way that I'd like to be loved? And it's 3.5 years down the line, and I haven't met anybody who has that communication or willing to learn even the love language. And I'll talk about this more on the Intention Dating App to Attract Your Soulmate YouTube channel. I'm going to go into great detail with permission, but not name anyone, of my journey of dating and how this love languages really affects it, and how I'm writing a book called Waiting for the One, and how I've been going through a book called Calling in the One. It's just really epic. I love, again, relationships. So as a spiritual business owner, you might be like, well, life work balance, relationships are huge. And so Dr. Gary Chapman says that he wrote this book and it is actually sold millions. And every single year, I'm looking at my notes from the book, it sold more copies. And so it can be for couples that are obviously already in relationships. Then he wrote the singles version. And it came about from his work, came about from working with couples, seeing in the church that people's marriages were hurting. He said some people have been together years and it improves their marriages. Some people come across the book before marriage and it sends them on the journey of really connecting with their spouse. So I love it. And so let me take that off. So my book, Calling in the One, Waiting for the One, sorry, the Calling in the One I've gone through, and I'll talk about my journey of calling in the one, and I believe I'm calling in the one, which is awesome. For a soulmate, just epic. My book called Waiting for the One was the 7 foundational C's to intentional dating. Again, I'll talk about that on my second YouTube channel. But for the 7 was, for me, I'm not getting into a relationship, is somebody's calling, their life purpose, their soul purpose, right? I've got a big life purpose and I wanted somebody to understand that and to actually have their own. And I talk about that in my book, Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch. Hang on. And this is what reminded me of it the other day. I was editing it, I wrote it, edited it, and self-published it again. And so in one of the chapters, a couple of chapters actually, I mentioned that I realized in fulfilling my life purpose and being in a relationship and being loved in the way that I want to be loved and understanding, I needed these 7 foundational C's. So soul purpose, a connection, so the vibration, consciousness, people's beliefs, compatibility, their soul desires, their love list. I'm going to be sharing again on the dating app. Chemistry, attraction, communication, your the way that we communicate really, really matters in terms of communicating in a relationship, and using the 5 love languages is awesome. And commitment. And so at the end of that, dating in that way, for me, relationships again, because the relationships that I've been in have impacted my spiritual business and impacted my spiritual life work balance and impacted my environments and impacted my emotions and impacted my finances, like impacted everything, like impacted my health, even mental health, physical health, emotional health, all the things. So choosing wisely is what I promised myself I'd do. So I'm considering the waiting for the one, right? And so at the end of that commitment, it's like, oh, well, you haven't got to the commitment stage. as yet. So it's about having a soul or a life purpose partner. And so I watched a video, you may have seen it, from what's he called? Torrey Roberts, as a pastor, and he was talking about the 5 keys to identify a soulmate. That YouTube channel has, or that video has had 10 million views, I think, something like that, 10 million or 11 million views. And it's 11 years old or something like that. And I came across that before I'd got into my twin flame union. And I was looking for that and I thought, oh, I found it. I haven't. And so I will let you know more so when we go through this. And so I'm dating for marriage, right? And so, yes, I've been married before, again, relationships. Unfortunately, my ex-husband passed in January. So getting into the right relationship, the last relationship, that's where I'm going with it. And so I say as well as these 7 foundational C's for intentional dating, I say the 11 fundamental C's for a conscious marriage agreement. I knew that I needed a conscious man. I'm a conscious woman. And so everybody around me going on that spiritual awakening. So this book, the Soul Legacy Journal, Spiritual Awakening Stories, I've gone through my awakening. I'm not going to be in union with somebody who's not spiritually awake. I'm not going to work with people who are not spiritually awake. And so I brought that into my business, my relationship with the universe, source, my higher self, etc. So the 7 C's is part of the 7 fundamental C's for a conscious marriage agreement. And then the last 4, 8 is confirmation signs, which we had and I've had. 9, compromise. 10, consistency. And 11 is compassion. And so that is how I'm dating and building that relationship. And I will share it on my second YouTube channel, because the intention dating app is not just going to be a space for relationships. It's about soul tribe and soul clients and soul family as well. I don't know about you, but having people around you who get it really does matter. So if you type in intention dating app to attract your soulmate, then you'll see it on YouTube. I'd love your support in it. The app is going to be free. The dating app is going to be free, and it's going to be for book readers. So there's a way to actually bring people together, conscious men and conscious women, in a way to actually improve the mental health and well-being of our nation and our future generation. I continued on listening to Dr. Gary Chapman, and he's got the 5 love languages. And if you don't know what the 5 love languages are, I mentioned 3. So acts of service is 1, gifts is 1, quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation. And so he says that the idea of the book is to really change people's thinking and improve marriages and relationships in society and the family unit. And that's what, for me, the intention dating app is. And so I'm like, oh, well, I have this vision, and I know that people want brilliant relationships. And he was saying about marriages, and not everybody's dating with the intention of marriage, but I wanted to. And so he says that when he first did this experiment, he had a lady take on a 6-month project to love her husband. She was about to get divorced, love her husband unconditionally, no matter what. And so she just loved up on him in the way that she knew was his love languages. And so after 2 weeks, she had no response. After another 2 weeks, he said, "What's going on with you?" And she said, "I'm having counseling. I want to be the best wife that I can be." Another 3 weeks, he said, "I don't know what you're doing," but this husband said, "I don't know what you're doing, but it's not going to work." Another week, he said, "I'm not much of a husband." And then he says, "What can I do for you?" Another month goes on, and he says, he just keeps asking her, "What can I do for you?" to every couple of weeks. And the result was the lady for the case study, Dr. Gary Chapman. She says, that man, never did she dream that man could love her in the way that he's loving her. And apparently the guy has never met Gary Chapman, but he said in his community, like, that book and that Dr. Gary Chapman changed my life. And so my intention for relationships, and I know that when we go on a spiritual awakening as light workers, oftentimes this has happened for me, and I've heard others, that we can grow apart from the relationship, the person that we're with. And so it's a matter of understanding and loving each other. And so when I was doing my work and awakening to this part of my life purpose, I had my students, many of them were married, and their husbands then ended up coming on board. And my twin flame got involved in the business, and it impacted families. And it was just really, really beautiful. Not everybody that resonated, like my audience kind of crossed over. So I want to keep that separately. But I'm really, really passionate about relationships, just relationships in general, because I believe relationships make the world go around. All right, let me grab my notes again. And I want to respect your time, but hopefully you have your vision board. That's my vision. And I'm putting that into action every single day by walking my talk first. All right. So in terms of relationships, how can you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day? Are you launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day, and having that spiritual life work balance? Are you living in intention? Are you setting soul's intentions? So can you set 1 to 3 soul's intentions between now and next Friday? When I come live, I've set my soul's intentions of what I want to do, how I want to have my relationships with my soul family, with my soul clients, so that soul tribe impact and soul client income, but also my personal relationship, and my relationship with me, my relationship with my soulmate, my relationship with my daughter. Like, how can you maintain those relationships and have that spiritual life work balance and build your spiritual business so that you have more freedom and love and joy and empowerment and knowledge over this next week? Does your life reflect that? And so as soon as I had that situation yesterday, I'm like, that's not how I want to lead my day. I launched my day in a beautiful way, the segment in that day, and I left my day in a very different way. And now I get to have different relationships as I'm launching my day, leading my day, and leaving my day. It's a different environment and it's different relationships, and it just feels really, really beautiful. Because every relationship that I have has been is intentionally in my life. Do you know what I mean? So what are your intentions? I've had to rejig mine. It was unexpected, but I'm welcoming it, and it's just really beautiful. I want to express gratitude, and the way that we do it on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is by, again, if you go to the vision board challenge, you'll see that I walk you through all of this and why, when we're vibrating at a frequency on our vision board, or why we set our vision. And then we can either say gratitude for things that are in the past, we can say gratitude for things that are in the present, or gratitude for things that are in the predicted future, in order for that vision to manifest, in order to be on that timeline, in that frequency. We need to be at that vibrational match, right? And so we say at the Seven Freedoms Intentional Living podcast for manifesting spiritual life work balance here at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. We want to have spiritual business success and we want to have balance. Then it stands to reason that we're going to address every area of our life. So I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate for these 7 areas. So I'll go through the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency, and it's the frequency that we're emitting by expressing gratitude. You can write this down, or you can say it out loud. I will say my gratitude. I just say it out loud here. I just think of something. You can write yours down or not. So I say, I'm happy and I'm grateful and appreciate for my life purpose. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that I get to write the book called Waiting for the One, right? Intentional dating, soulmates, sex, and marriage. The ultimate guide to soulmate attraction, soulful sex, and conscious marriage. I'm super excited to write that book, but lean into it as my contribution in my lifestyle and my light work. Love it. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate my health. That I am eating clean and I have the awareness of what is going on with my body, in terms of hormonally, etc. Which is, I appreciate my body, and I appreciate my health, and I appreciate fueling my body, and dropping off. I also appreciate that. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that I have the freedom. I'm not like really restricted, 80%, and I'm good to go. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate my emotional freedom. The tears that flowed today, the toxins that are released with the fears, and being able to explain to my best friend what the tears were, and be heard, express emotionally, what's going on for me or what went on for me, and how I will move forward, and how I talked about on Wednesday for emotional freedom, a dating experience, which my best friend was there for me. And after I had an encounter with a person who was physically abusive, and um, I was escorted to her property, and so she was there for me, and I really, really, really appreciate that. And she says, maybe that experience has traumatized you more than what you think. And I said, actually, I had processed it, moved forward, and I explained to the person that I was dating, and I said, I will get therapy and different things. Like, actually, because I'm doing this process, I'm very aware of my relationships and of my emotions. I love that. I'm so happy and grateful and appreciate um environment, the Bumble dating app, and that they have given me therapy online. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that. Happy and grateful and appreciate the relationship I have with my godson's mom, and being in that environment, this environment, and being able to share. She's given me her office to use, and that for me is just wonderful. And it's a beautiful space, and it's filled with a lot of love. So I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that environment. Happy and grateful and appreciate um, that relationship, and with her daughters as well. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate spirituality, the spiritual awakening, and being able to journal my journey in my journal. Yeah, I'm happy and grateful and appreciate the Soul Legacy Journal. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate the finances that I was able to receive through a beautiful connection that is going to blossom. And I'm happy that co-author is excited. I'm happy that getting paid and receiving the energy exchange, one for my boot camp today and one for the co-author book series. That's the intention that I put on my vision board. And that's the intention of me having that spiritual life work balance. When it comes in, and it comes in daily and after day and day after day and day after day, whether you're working or not, it's such a beautiful experience. And having the relationships that I'm building, that I'm growing, and people are being lovely and patient with me as I'm building this big vision. So if you are in my world, if you're a student, if you're a co-author, if you're watching this in the Soul Legacy Academy, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for being on this journey with me, and allowing me to be part of your life. It's just really huge for me. So that is gratitude. We've done the vision board. We've done our values, and there's a North Star values list in the Soul Legacy Academy. If you're not sure on your values and how they conflict with certain people and certain things, then I've got a whole list on there. So what I want to do is do the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge. And some of you have said, oh, I had a student say, when do we do the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge? And so that will kick off on the last Monday of the month, here at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Women. I challenge you to bank 50K in 50 days as a spiritual business owner, creating that spiritual life work balance. I challenge you to go ahead and create passive and leverage income streams. And if you've written a book, I challenge you to get that book out there and take it on a virtual book tour and be really visible. I challenge you to finish writing your book. I challenge you to come and write a book with me. I will share with you how I'm supporting my co-authors and my masterminders in writing their own books and publishing them and all the things. And again, my book is called Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, a soul-guided influencers compass to leveraging your light work and lifestyle on YouTube. There's a business model that I'm following. There's a one-page plan that is a free bonus for masterclass attendees. When you sign up for that, you're not just on an email list. There's value. There's a one-page spiritual business plan, and it's about live streaming and video strategy. If you've ever wanted to get on video and you're like, oh, I don't know how that fits in my business, and you want to repurpose everything, because this is being repurposed on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and within the Soul Legacy Academy. And then this is supporting my students for my 2-hour monthly coaching call. This is supporting me. It's just like, wow, right? Like, It's just huge. So I challenge you to bank 50K in 50 days, but do it with ease, grace, and flow. I challenge you to create a spiritual business that you love, and a spiritual business that gives you freedom, a spiritual business that you're proud of, a spiritual business that gives you that freedom and that emotional charge, a spiritual business that you can work on anywhere in the world, a spiritual business that gives you the relationships. Like, you want to go global and you want to impact thousands, millions of people. I challenge you to build a spiritual business that will allow you to do that. And we know that books can change and transform lives. We know that there's an unlimited. Dr. Gary Chapman said, when he was rewriting this or recording the Audible, it sold 5 million copies. And every single year he sold more and more copies. I don't even know how many copies this book sold, but it was one book written once, sold over and over and over and over again. So I challenge you to create a spiritual business around your book. I challenge you to actually market your book. And Dr. Gary Chapman said in his book, The Five Love Languages, that his book has grown because more people share. And so we're talking about relationships. So people said, oh, you've got to get this book. I shout about that book all the time. He doesn't know who I am. I love that book. Like, I will share it till the cows come home. Wherever you're watching, I can't see if you're commenting, but if you want to come over to the YouTube channel, then you can leave me a comment and we'll pull it up on the screen. And hopefully you're finding value, and hopefully you'll take my Bank 50K in 50 days challenge on. I will show you how to speak to, serve, and sign up your high-paying soul clients on YouTube, online, and by creating passive and leverage income streams, including creating a book. In this book, there's a 5-day course for book readers. So when you purchase the book, if you go to the first chapter, then you'll have a 5-day course. I'm gifting you 10 times the value that you pay for the book. So you can get this book on Kindle for $5.55, and I gift you a $55 coupon code. You're welcome. So I'm thinking about relationships, right? And so the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge, you've got to start somewhere. And inside that course is another $55 off my bootcamp, right? And so you'll see all of that. And so for me, I wanted to create that spiritual life work balance and have the impact that I wanted to have with my soul clients and my students, but not have to be there. So I'm doing this, and I'm doing it live. I don't edit. Like, I just don't have time to edit, and it doesn't create that soul to soul connection. When you're talking to someone, if I'm talking to you, I am saying I am moving around. I don't need to jump cut and edit a video. It doesn't make sense to me. And so I am flowing. I am thinking, oh, well, what's coming through me is just coming through me. And that's relationship. So I get to do this for myself. I share my spiritual practice and I repurpose it, and we do the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge. So again, I will show you how to do it in the physical world. So how we do it in the vibrational world is, hang on, I'm swapping books. So is this journal. Now, it's the Soul Legacy Journal. And so this is a magical journal. It's a blank notebook where you get to come and journal with me every single day. You're getting coaching for free. If you're a student of mine, I'm supporting you daily, like holding you accountable. When you drop off, when you go on to somebody's list and you don't hear from them other than the buy my stuff, this is me building a spiritual business where I can hold space. Quality time is my love language, and hopefully give you words of encouragement. And challenge you. And so this book, this journal, is a companion journal to my co-author book series, us sharing our spiritual awakening story. If you want to collab and you want to write your own book, or you want to feature in my book and position yourself to bank 50K in 50 days as the #1 bestselling author, go to the masterclass. All right. And I'll share with you how you can collab. So the journal gives you £1,000 or dollars or euros every single day. And we play a game. We want to make our spiritual business fun. When we're creating spiritual life work balance, it's because we want to actually have some fun and have some downtime, right? And so I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with the energy exchange of money. And so the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge, I say because this journal gives you £1,000 or dollars or euros every single day in vibrational money. It's real money because we are energy. And so you spend the vibrational money on the things that are on your vision board. Now, if you haven't done the vision board, request to get access to the vision board. It's a Google Doc, and you'll see the links to last year's vision board and this year's vision board. And every single year I will update it. So I challenge you to live intentionally, create that spiritual life work balance, and bank 50K in 50 days. Put it on your vision board and put the lifestyle on your vision board. Share how you will be contributing, right? Share how much money you want to be receiving annually. Whatever you are receiving now, it doesn't matter. Being in vibrational harmony, yes, it can be done because the universe is limitless and abundance and prosperous. We're moving from a poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness, and that takes shift. It takes repetition. We talked about paradigms yesterday with Bob Proctor, reading his book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. It takes repetition and a shift in your paradigm. And this is how I shifted my paradigm. And so spending the vibrational money every single day is that repetition. So you want to spend the money on the experiences on your vision board. Go and actually look up and research and feel the feeling of the version of you that's on your vision board manifesting. It's already manifested, and that is how you manifest. That is how you bridge the gap from this timeline, this version of you, to the version of you, because it's already in existence. You've already asked and it is being given. But you've got to jump onto the timeline and the frequency of that. So this is why this is called the 7 Freedoms frequency podcast and the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency, because your vision is on a different frequency. You have to rise and reside at that frequency, and also rise and reside at the frequency that we wish to witness in the world. Because pointing the finger and saying everybody else should do this, this, and this, like, we're giving our power away. Having finances helps us to have more power and more freedom. So you tithe 10%. Tithe 10% to a worthy cause. My worthy cause is called Compassionate Friends. It's a charity that supports bereaved parents. So because I am one, I dedicate my soul work to my son, Daniel Samuel Mead, who made his transition 10 years ago. And so I tithe my time as well. And I talk about that on Emotional Freedom Wednesday, where I am giving an hour a week to a grief companion. And so that, for me, having that spiritual life work balance, being able to carve out an hour on a Tuesday lunchtime to give back is huge. Creating a spiritual business where I can say, okay, well, I'm on live, and I've written my book, I've got a course in my book, I've got a collab call, I've got a co-author book series, I've got a virtual retreat, I will have an in-person retreat, I've got all these things, and I've still got life work balance. And figured it out, and teaching it is huge, absolutely huge. So I spent my vibrational money on the experiences. I tithe 10%. It works. I've had students manifest all kinds of things. And I've had students that say, you know what, and again, Bob Proctor was saying about change your paradigm, change your life. He had a seminar and he's like, some of you will have a profound experience and change. This will be life-changing for some of you. And somebody said, well, why would you say just some of you? Because it's a decision to change. It's a decision to do the vision board. It's a decision to get in alignment with your values. It's a decision to raise your vibrational frequency, no matter what is going on for you. We all have life be lifing. Life can life as much as it wants, but we then raise our vibrational frequency. All right. So we've talked about vision. We've talked about values. We've talked about vibration. We've talked about launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day, and doing it with ease, grace, and flow. All right. And aligning your movement, your message, and your money. All right. By spending that vibrational money voucher. All right. Book for today. I've already talked about Dr. Gary Chapman. We're going to go through the card that I had, and we did gratitude as well. So this is the card that I pulled for today. It's called from a deck called Keepers of the Light by Carl Gray. And the artwork is by Lily Moses. And so today, bear in mind, I've just shared about, okay, well, what the relationships and yesterday's experience, I got this card. So we always get what we need the most. Hang on 1 second. All right, there we go. So you see it? Kuan Yin, compassion, care and compassion. Choose to be love. Do what is right for everyone involved. offer a helping hand. And that is what I did before I actually pulled this card. But I actually shuffled the Keepers of the Light and I say it's Relationship Freedom Friday. What card and what message do we need today? And so this is for me and this is for you. So hopefully I will get to know why this actually makes why this resonates with you if it does. Kuan Yin, sometimes called Kuan Yin, oh, I don't know how they've changed it, is a Buddha-like being and the goddess of mercy, compassion, and love. Though she's acknowledged in Buddhism and traditions of China, she goes beyond the religion and warms the hearts of all who call upon her. She is strong. She has a strong connection to healing energy, in particular Reiki, and it encourages people to offer care, forgiveness, compassion to themselves and to others. And part of the journey that I was saying on Emotional Freedom Wednesday was forgiveness. That was the message. Listening to Louise Hay's You Can Call Your Life, You Can Heal Your Life, the book. So compassion is about recognizing the spirit in others. It's about seeing that they come from the same source as you do. And I talked about this for the 11 fundamental C's for a conscious marriage agreement. That compassion at the end and the understanding is huge. Imagine having more relationships that have more compassion. Oh, extended message. First of all, Keepers of the Light wants to acknowledge all the service that and commitment you have offered to others. Thank you. You are all love. If you are finding it difficult with anyone at the moment, the best way you can move forward is to go beyond wanting to understand why or how they are the way they are. Just move beyond their behavior, mistakes, and challenges. This card brings a message of friendship and care, helping you see that those around you do have the best intentions, even if it doesn't always seem that way. Move into compassion and develop a greater understanding. This will elevate your spirit and connection to love. And I had two people today that I shared their journey say actually about compassion, and actually for this person you remember to show compassion. And I'm like, I've got it, thank you, but thank you for the reminder and thank you for holding space for that loved one in my life, because even though we're all one, and even though somebody's behavior is not in alignment with your own values, doesn't mean to say you have to go like dipping all your vibration and doing all the things and thinking like thoughts that are not in alignment with love. And so I love it. So that is it for the Seven Freedoms of Recovery podcast. That was a big one today. It was a big one for me. Hopefully that supported you and has resonated with you. And again, come to the 1 week to create a badass spiritual business vision board. It's an annual challenge to support you in your spiritual life work balance. The login details and the enrollment for $7.77 per year. And again, I'm in the UK, so it's like £4 something. You're welcome. Is at www.soullegacyacademy.com/courses/vision board. All right. And so again, the masterclass, register for the Bank 50K in 50 days, book marketing. Yeah, Bank 50K in 50 days challenge, the spiritual business book marketing on YouTube, free masterclass where I'll share with you how to speak to, serve, and sign up your high paying one-to-many soul clients. One-to-many meaning passive and leverage income streams and creating groups so that you're leveraging your time. It's huge to be able to do that. I remember not even knowing how to do group coaching, and I kind of stumbled across it while I was creating my program. And the way that I teach you how to create a program, especially a beta program, is priceless. And I still have replays in my bootcamp of my beta program. It just sets the foundation. My bootcamp there's a lot in there. However, if you're in the mastermind or you come to the live masterclass, I gift you a Q&A for the book. I gift you Q&A for the 5-day challenge that's in the book, and I gift you Q&A for the bootcamp. And so on the first Monday to Friday of the month, October through to April, so in October, in November, in December, in January, in February, in March, and April, 7 months of the year, if you come to that masterclass live on the last Monday of the month at 3 p.m. UK time for 4 hours, If you sign up for my bootcamp or mastermind, I give you 2 hours of coaching, an annual coaching for intentional living, that spiritual life work balance. But I also gift you a Q&A if you are a book reader and you're going through the 5-day challenge, or if you are a boot camper and you want to get Q&A to give you that kickstart, or you can purchase it for $111. Again, that's me having a passive and leverage income stream and being able to say to you, do you know what? No matter when you're watching this, when you're listening to this, then that is relevant because I built my business model with the intention of sharing with you how we can work together and how you can move forward and how you can get the free stuff, how you can get bonuses, how you can get ethical bribes and no-brainer offers. And one day, I've set this out for the next 7 years, but one day I will have my soul guided instructors take over that and take over some of the calls. I can't take over the lives, but I've set it out for 7 years and that's what I've committed to, but I can have others do that for me as well. So it's an epic business model. It's a badass spiritual business. Create your badass spiritual business. Do you have a badass spiritual business or does it need improving? I would love to be your spiritual book and business model mentor. I will see you on the next episode, which is Spiritual Freedom Saturday. And then we have Financial Freedom on Sunday. Keep coming back to this intentional living podcast and learn the 7 freedoms in and out. You're living life anywhere. You might as well live it like rising and residing at the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. Here's to showing up, speaking out and serving deep. Big love. Thank you for joining me. I will see you on the next episode. Take care.